I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. Again, this is a live webinar. If you're on a cell phone or if you're on your computer, I would just ask that you would mute yourself at this point in time so that we don't pick up your background noises. As we go through the presentation, certainly if you have questions, you can unmute yourself and ask me the question directly, or we'll have some time at the end of the presentation for questions. But I would rather everyone mute themselves rather than me muting everyone. Now, as you can see by the opening slide, we want to begin to have an understanding of how Synergy Worldwide's Microbiome Purify Kit helps you to restore your gut health. And part of the presentation that I'm going to show you today is in preparation for April the 18th, when we have our live webinar on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, for helping people understand how microbiome research can help them restore their gut health and reset their gut health. So some of the slides that you're going to see in here are part of that presentation, but it's going to help us to give the context of why Synergy's Microbiome Purify Kit is so important and so helpful in restoring gut health. Now, this next slide that we're going to see is Synergy is rebranding themselves across their 28 different countries that they market in. You know, Synergy Worldwide operates in 28 different countries, and they want to have a consistent marketing theme across all 28 countries, and that marketing theme is called Elite Health. And it's based upon science-based, innovative, proprietary programs that holistically improve your total health, elevate your performance, and unlock your true potential. And all the things that Synergy is doing in terms of product design, especially the Microbiome Purify Kit and the other components of the microbiome program that they'll be releasing over time, are all designed in this whole process of making sure that they are science-based, that they're innovative, that they're proprietary formulations, meaning that Synergy for some of these products are getting patents for them, not only for the product design, but also the delivery system so that other people in the marketplace can't copy like they did Probiotic Plus. There are a lot of companies that copied what Synergy Worldwide did for Probiotic Plus. Well, by having a proprietary blend that is patented, that allows us as distributors to be able to address significant health issues with science-based products that have peer-reviewed clinical studies to them that also allow us to make statements that we wouldn't be able to make without that. And bottom line, helping people to elevate their human performance, unlock their true potential, help them, as we like to say, bless lives with better health. And in that process, they created this microbiome program. And there's three parts to this microbiome equation: purify, fortify, and protect. Today, we're going to look at the Purify part of the program, the initial Purify Kit, and what it does to helping people. In the process, we need to understand what the microbiome is. Now, this is a huge area of emerging science. This is much more complex than nitric oxide therapy. Nitric oxide therapy is like first grade level compared to what the microbiome is, which is like university level. And there's so much complexion to the whole microbiome process. So let's begin to get a handle on just the basics of what this is all about. So I went to Merriam-Webster to get a definition for microbiome. I'll read it. It's on the screen. A community of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and viruses that inhabit a particular environment, and especially the collection of microorganisms living in and on the human body. Your body is home to about 100 trillion bacteria and other microbes, collectively known as your microbiome. Now, some of this is initially for me, when I heard all this information, especially some of the things I'm going to show you next, it was hard for me to get my head around this. And so I hope what I'm going to show you next will make it easier for people to understand how important your microbiome is and how much it actually affects your overall health. Now, there's four major microbial communities. There's the one that's in the oral cavity, there's the one that's on your skin, the vaginal cavity, and then what's called the fecal or abdominal cavity. We're going to focus on the fecal abdominal cavity because that one there has the greatest diversity and content of microbiome or microbial communities, and it directly affects your health. Now, in looking this, when you add them all up together, as we saw in the definition from Merriam-Webster's, there's 100 trillion microscopic organisms. Here's what I had a hard time getting my head around. 10% of your cells contain human DNA. The remaining 90% of the cells that make up your body are either bacteria, fungi, and microflora. Again, I still have a bit of a hard time understanding that, because when I look in the mirror, I can't see the bacteria, fungi, and microflora. I see who I am, and I look at myself as human as 100%. But when you look at DNA, in fact, this next thing, in the human genome, there are 22,000 genes in the entire human genome. They've been able to isolate those different genes. Just in your gut microbiome, there's 3.3 million genes. It's incredible. What is contained in your gut area is absolutely critical to your overall health and actually defines you more as a person than your human DNA does. Here's the next picture. Well, before I get to that, you're going to see this thing maybe in Synergy Worldwide, but when you go to actually research the microbiome, you're going to see this phrase over and over. We are only 10% human. The rest of us is made up of some aspect of how the microbiome collectively works together to either provide us with good health, marginal health, or bad health. Here's an example. These are two women. When you look at the lady on the left-hand side and you look at the lady on the right-hand side, outside of their hair color and the activities that they're doing, there's a significant difference between the two of them. Now, genetically, there's only a 1% difference between these two women. In fact, some people would say that the genetic makeup of these two women are 99.9% identical. So what's the difference between the lady on the left and the lady on the right? Is it the exercise that she's doing? Is it the drink that the person on the right is doing? When you begin to investigate the microbiome, the difference is what's in their gut. And their gut microbiome could be as different from each other, from 80 to 90% difference between the lady on the left and the lady on the right. And that difference in the microbiome of the gut makes all the difference in how they process the foods that come into them, and either gives them energy to do activity or ends up taking that energy and storing it as fat, which over time leads to overweight and then obesity and all the different health issues that surround that whole process. Now, some people might say, okay, that's a little bit of a stretch. So here's a study that was done with twins. Twins having identical DNA, but the microbiome within the twins are different. One twin is obese, the other twin is lean. So what they did is they took the microbiome of the gut area and transplanted that into mice. And as you can see on the slide, the mice who got the microbiome from the lean twin was given the same diet as the other part of the study, so that both sets of mice, the ones that had the microbiome of the obese twin and the one that had the microbiome of the lean twin, those mice were all given the same diet, low-fat, high-fiber diet. And as you can see on the right-hand side, there was a significant difference in how those mice responded to the microbiome that was implanted into them. That for the mice that had the microbiome from the lean twin, those mice given the same diet stayed lean. But the microbiome that was implanted into the mice that had the microbiome from the obese twin, same diet, but they increased in body weight and body fat. And it had everything to do with the microbiome. It had nothing to do with the genetics of the two people because they're twins. All the emerging science is showing that the root cause of our health concerns is in the microbiome. How your microbiome is put together, and if you begin to investigate this area, it's absolutely fascinating because it even starts at birth. The microbiome of a child that is born naturally, that goes through the vaginal tract, has a different microbiome than children who are taken by C-section. And the health issues between the two population groups, C-section babies versus vaginal birth babies, are extremely significant in terms of greater illnesses in the C-section babies. They're even to the point where they're now taking C-section babies and swathing them with the vaginal bacteria of the mother to begin to help them colonize the bacteria that they need to develop their microbiome on their skin to protect them. It's just a really fascinating area of science. Now, I'm not going to get into real depth and detail here, but there's a couple things that directly affect your microbiome. Absolutely your diet. You've heard the phrase before, you are what you eat, and it's absolutely true. And most people in America, because of the lifestyles that we live, our diets are poor. Our diets are designed from the food industry to work on taste, not health. And there's an excessive amount of sugar and additives and salt and bad fats. And it's not on this slide, but I personally target wheat now. Wheat has been so genetically engineered over the last 30 years that wheat today is not what wheat was 30, 50 years ago, and actually has a higher glycemic index than table sugar, and affects so many areas of your body. So there's this whole aspect of the foods that we're eating and how they affect your microbiome, which then affects you and your health. Antibiotics and medications. I mean, if you look at the amount of medications and antibiotics that are used in the United States compared to other countries, it is just overwhelming. Yet our health issues are so much greater in the United States. Why? Because those antibiotics and medications affect the microbiome. Oral contraceptives, right? In our process of being able to have the ability to have sex without consequences, oral contraceptives have come into place, and those oral contraceptives affect the microbiome, which then leads to issues with regards to, I just can't lose weight. I'm not on an oral contraceptive, but for women who are, that's one of the issues that they then experience. You have alcohol. Again, alcohol in moderation versus alcohol that goes beyond that. Alcohol affects the microbiome. Our obsession with cleanliness. It's like, okay, you go into people's homes and almost every room has some type of antiseptic. You have a bottle that you can squeeze to put some stuff on your hands so that you can wipe your hands so that you can get rid of those nasty germs. And I love this slide here. I created this slide off of a statement from Robin Chutkin. She's got a great book called The Microbiome Solution. If you're looking to get educated in this area, just like we used Dr. Ignaro's book, No More Heart Disease, to help us understand nitric oxide therapy. This book, The Microbiome Solution, will help you understand this whole area of the microbiome. But she has a statement: live dirty, eat clean, because every serious disease or chronic ailment begins in our gut. And what she's talking about is choosing foods that are going to allow you to burn energy from a clean standpoint. And don't worry about whether you get your hands dirty or your face dirty, because those microbial communities that are in the surrounding environment, especially in dirt, are actually good for you and actually help you to colonize create the colonies of microbiome that's in the skin surface that helps to protect you from illnesses. Again, I love that statement from her, and I can tell you that this picture, when I put it up on my Facebook account, shot up, I think it's well over 800 shares and likes now. Low diet and fermented foods. I mean, I'm not Polish, and I never cared for sauerkraut. But again, that would be a great fermented food that helps to recolonize and support proper microbiome in your abdominal cavity. Stress. I mean, we live in America, and all you have to do is just read whoever your email provider is, whether it be Yahoo, Bing, whatever. If you just go on any of the sites like Yahoo, it's like America is in stress today from a political standpoint. I mean, there's so much stress that's going on from a work standpoint. There's so much stress going on from a lifestyle standpoint. You know, depending upon where you live in America, you know, I live in the Chicagoland area. I don't live on the south side. I live on the west side. I live 28 miles straight west of downtown Chicago. If I lived 18 miles straight south of downtown Chicago, my stress level in my community would be a whole lot greater because of the amount of violence that goes on in the southern suburbs of Chicago. I mean, there's so many aspects of stress, and there are numerous studies that demonstrate how stress damages the gut flora and creates an imbalance in this gut flora, which then reduces your level to be able to resist illnesses and other health issues that come about, all because of what's known as dysbiosis. I have to, sometimes these words are new for me. Dysbiosis is a terminology that you will see, and what it means is that the delicate microbiome balance has been disrupted. And as they do research in this area, they've found that this dysbiosis of the microbiome is associated with almost every known disease process, like obesity and autoimmune diseases and allergic reactions and Alzheimer's disease and cancer, cardiovascular disease, celiac or gluten sensitivities, diabetes, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, leaky gut. I could go on and on and on. The list is huge in terms of all the different illnesses that people in America and other countries are experiencing, and their lifestyle diseases. And those lifestyles that people are living are causing dysbiosis of the microbiome of their gut, leading to their health issues. So let's just take one example, what's called cardiometabolic dysfunction. It's toxic elements that are created by a person's gut microbiome. By not having the proper microbiome, instead of having useful substances created that the body can use, instead toxins are created. So what happens is those toxins travel from our gut to all parts of our body. How do they get there? They're absorbed through a leaky gut into the bloodstream, and that bloodstream then carries them throughout the body. And what that does is those toxins first start creating inflammation. Inflammation then leads to metabolic dysfunction. Metabolic dysfunction leads to insulin resistance, which then causes fat deposits to collect on a person's body, which then creates cardiometabolic dysfunction. And when you look over on this right-hand side, where that toxin starts out and enters the bloodstream and begins to affect the muscles, fibromyalgia, begins to cause what we just went through, inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, insulin resistance. Now you get fat deposits. It affects the liver. Your liver is the main chemical factory in your body. There's over 500 chemical reactions that go on in the liver. And the liver is so important to your ability of your body to detoxify itself that when it's overwhelmed with toxins causing inflammation, the liver becomes less effective in processing all the things that it needs to do because it's overwhelmed. Those toxins even affect the brain, causing, some people call it brain fog, eventually leading to diseases or contributing to the process of leading to diseases like Alzheimer's, cognitive dysfunction. You'll see the statement, and I'm not sure if Synergy's going to be using it or what, but fix the gut, fix the problem. So if you fix the gut, the microbiome, you can fix many of these different types of issues. So there's 4 keys in helping to create an optimal gut health to reverse this inflammation process. The first one is to plant your gut with probiotics. Probiotics help to colonize our gut. Those are the bacteria that we want in our gut that provides reactions, be able to process foods and things that we eat in a way that will provide benefits to our body instead of toxins to our body. Then you need to fertilize that gut garden with what are called prebiotics. They help that healthy bacteria to flourish so that the healthy bacteria, as it flourishes, can overwhelm the bad bacteria, as opposed to what's currently happening where people's diet nourishes the bad bacteria, which then allows them to overgrow and overgrow the good bacteria, so that your microbiome of your gut is based of bad bacteria causing toxins, as opposed to good bacteria being able to force out the bad. Enrich your gut garden with nutrients. So having the right antioxidants and nutrients to help colonize that good bacteria. And then you need to pull the weeds by removing toxins from your system, either removing toxins by looking at the foods that you're eating and be able to choose foods in your diet that don't have antibiotics in it, that don't have, that are not processed or overly processed, that are not refined, that are foods that are used in good environmental communities, like, you know, or they're fed organic, they're not given antibiotics. You know, just being able to make sure that the food that you're eating is clean. The cleaner the food that you eat, the cleaner your ability of your body, especially if you've recolonized your gut microbiome, to be able to process that food for energy and the things that will lead to good health. So Synergy created the Purify Kit, the Microbiome Purify Kit, designed to detoxify your body, designed to cleanse your digestive tract, and designed to balance your microbiome. So it's a detoxification program, it's a cleansing program, and it's a balancing program, and the kit contains 5 products: the Biome Shake, the Biome DT, Biome Actives, Body Prime, and Proline Plus. So let's look at the Biome Shake. I've started using the Biome Shake. I used to use Synergy's Slim Smart Health Shake, and I usually use the combination of the chocolate and the vanilla to make my morning shake. Now, I started last Saturday with the Biome Shake. The first time I had it, because the taste was slightly different, it was like, okay, not sure about this. But by Sunday, because I'm not looking, I didn't do 2 shakes a day. I only do 1 shake a day with the Microbiome Shake. On Sunday when I had it, it was like, okay, I like this. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But by Monday, I understood, at least for me, what makes sense is I feel a much cleaner burn of and cleaner energy by using the Biome Shake. This is a certified vegan, gluten-free, and in this process, they use a vegetable protein. We're going to talk about this a little bit more depth and detail, called pea protein. It's designed to balance the microbiome, both repair the microbiome with the right amino acids from proteins that it needs. Because again, if you look at the literature in this area, animal protein doesn't provide diversity of the microbiome, whereas vegetable protein does. And vegetable protein actually helps to grow the favorable bacterial colonies that you want. It includes inulin. We'll look about this a little bit more, but inulin helps feed that friendly bacteria. You can't digest inulin, but your friendly bacteria love it. It's a food source for them. So when you take your microbiome or your Biome Shake, not only are you fueling your human cells, but you're also fueling your friendly bacteria. So you're bringing food to not just your body, but also to the bacteria that you want in your body to help that bacteria, that good bacteria, to be able to grow and colonize at a faster rate, to be able to, again, reshape the microbiome to the good bacteria that you want for proper digestion. It also is helpful for detoxification. It enhances elimination. It supports digestive and immune system. It activates detoxification with broccoli powder and zinc. And it also tastes great. I actually like the Biome Shake better than the Slim Smart Shake. And I don't plan to go back to the Slim Smart Shake. I plan to continue this. And in fact, what I found from my experience, I've kept my shake recipe the same. See, I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm just looking to reset my microbiome. So I have the same shake formula that I used today as what I used prior to bringing this into my system. All I've done in my shake formula is I've substituted 2 scoops of the Slim Smart Shake for 2 scoops of the Biome Shake. And my experience is this: cleaner energy burn, good energy and focus, better than what I had before, and I have gained an extra hour to an hour and a half before I even get hungry. So I usually have this at 7 in the morning, and on the Slim Smart Shake, I used to get hungry around 11, 11:30. On the Biome Shake, I don't get hungry until 12, 12:30, sometimes 1 o'clock before I start to get hungry and know that I got to get something in my system to be able to help take care of that. And the energy is so much better and the focus is so much better, so I really like this. Now, within this Biome Shake, there's a lot of ingredients, and I can't go over all the ingredients. If you look at the ingredient list, there's an awful lot of ingredients that are in the Biome Shake. I just want to point out 5 of them to you. Pea protein. That provides a cleaner energy metabolism and gives greater diversity in healthy gut bacteria. So basically, pea protein is going to help you burn cleaner, to provide a cleaner energy metabolism, to be able to take the energy that's in amino acids and be able to convert that to useful energy in your body. And it also provides for greater diversity in helping to recolonize the gut bacteria with the good bacteria that you need to be able to process things. Now, this next one, I had a hard time pronouncing it initially until I separated the 2 O's. It's fructooligosaccharides. So fructooligosaccharides, it basically what it is, it's a prebiotic that supports healthy gut bacteria and works very similar to inulin from chicory root extract, which is a prebiotic that supports healthy gut bacteria. What's a prebiotic? It's an ingredient that helps to fuel the good bacteria that you want in your system. Now, there's flaxseed powder that's in this. Flaxseed powder significantly increases healthy gut bacteria while also helping to reduce colonies of bad bacteria. So what does it do? It helps to begin to flip that equation. For people who have an overabundance of bad bacteria in their microbiome, gut microbiome, flaxseed powder helps to flip that, where it begins to allow healthy bacteria to thrive and grow and reduce the colonies of bad bacteria. Plus, it also shows to be able to reduce insulin resistance, which means that as you reduce insulin resistance, your body is then better able to take the energy in the form of glucose and actually use it as an energy source instead of storing it in your body as fat. And then I think it's called borage oil, and that's a natural anti-inflammatory compound, because one of the issues that's involved in this whole process is beginning to remove the inflammation that is in the abdominal cavity, so that your abdominal cavity, like any organ that is without inflammation, can always function better and do the things that it's designed to do. Small intestine, large intestine, and the whole abdominal cavity to be able to function as a whole unit, because there's not inflammation in that area. The Biome DT, it's a patent pending formula. I don't yet know if their patents have come through, but it's really a unique product that they've created, designed for detoxification, to eliminate heavy metals and other toxins out of your system, designed to help cleanse, so that in the cleansing process, it helps to lubricate and soothe the digestive lining. It helps to support healthy elimination. And then it also is designed for microbiome balance. Again, you see this inulin. You're going to see inulin in several of the Synergy products that are part of the Purify Kit because inulin is such a good soluble fiber. And again, it's a soluble fiber, so that means that it's able to be passed through your system because soluble fiber will work with water to create like a gel-like substance. And so in that process, it slows down the process of going through your system to allow the healthy microflora of your gut biome to have the meal that it's looking for to be able to fuel those good bacteria and to help them recolonize at a faster rate so that you can, in a short period of time, flip the equation on your microbiome in your gut from bad bacteria and colonies of bad bacteria to colonies of good bacteria. Plus there's glutamine, which helps to repair the gut lining. And this is so critical because your gut lining is what allows nutrients to pass through. And the purpose of the gut lining is to protect you from toxins and other things that should not be in your bloodstream. But when it's damaged through inflammation and other processes that are going on, you get what's called the leaky gut syndrome, which allows toxins and other things that don't belong in your bloodstream into your bloodstream that then circulate through your body. And those toxins, as we saw in a previous slide, begin the process of creating inflammation in various areas of the body, which then leads to health issues. Now, you'll also see this term second meal effect, meaning that when you take the Biome DT by itself or with a small snack, it allows you to be able to overcome the feeling of hunger so that you can continue to have good energy, good focus, and not get yourself into that eating syndrome where a lot of people, because of the types of food that they're eating based upon sugar content or wheat content within the food and the snacks that they're eating, an hour later they're hungry again. And so they snack again. And they have this continuous process. And if all those calories come in, but your body is not able to process those calories as useful energy, it ends up getting stored as fat. And it just creates this metabolic syndrome issues that America is facing today with epidemic of diabetes. And you look at the amount of obese and overweight people and how it's grown over the last 25 to 30 years, it is like unbelievable. And it has to do, not from our gene standpoint, everyone's trying to blame our genes for this. It has everything to do with the microbiome of the gut. That's the area. It's no longer your genes that are causing the problem. You know, certainly there are occasional things where, yes, there's a genetic disorder in the genes that cause a particular health issue, but it's not overweight, it's not obesity, it's not that person's genes, it's their microbiome. It's the microbiome that is creating, I'll put a percentage of 90% of the health issues is all tied to the microbiome. I'll have to do some research to check to make sure that that's accurate. Now, glutamine is really important because this amino acid supports intestinal cells to improve their intestinal permeability, which is the ability to prevent toxins from entering the bloodstream, the leaky gut syndrome, and it also improves the ratio of good bacteria to bad bacteria to aid in weight management. Now, I still haven't got my ability to say these words properly, so I'm just going to use good bacteria and bad bacteria. And when you look at people who are overweight and thin, and you compare their microbiomes to each other, the thin people have the good bacteria in dominance, and the ones that are overweight have the bad bacteria in dominance. And that bad bacteria is part of the reason why they're overweight. They cannot process food properly to extract energy properly, so the body then stores that stuff as fat, as opposed to the good bacteria through enzymatic processes being able to take that food and be able to extract the energy properly from that food and bring it into your system in a way that's going to allow your body to use that energy as opposed to store that energy. Stored energy in the body is fat. Now, I think it's psyllium husk. It's a prebiotic that helps to fuel favorable bacteria while providing bulk to the stools. Some studies show that it helps lower blood glucose levels and improve insulin use. And then you have zinc. Helps to maintain both the population and diversity of good bacteria. And broccoli flowers. When I saw that, I was like, okay, why are broccoli flowers in here? So I did some research on broccoli flowers, and broccoli flowers, when they're broken down in the body by the good bacteria, that produces compounds that help to address inflammation. So the broccoli flowers is in the Biome DT to address this inflammation issue. We have the Biome Actives. Now, initially in the kit, they tell you to take it 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm sure that it'll be part of the maintenance program to be able to continue to colonize. And when you look at this, it's all designed for microbial balance. And it's a probiotic. They use Bacillus coagulans. And again, I did some research in this area. We're going to come back to this. But that Bacillus coagulans help to repopulate the gut and balance the microbiome. But what they do is they combine the probiotic with a prebiotic. We've already talked about inulin. That inulin helps to feed the healthy bacteria, especially the Bacillus coagulans. And in that whole process, again, helps to encourage a healthy balance of the microbiome. Now, looking at these things, I did some research in this area, and there's a whole area of science about combining a probiotic with a prebiotic. So let me take this excerpt that I found and read it first, and then show you the uniqueness of what Synergy Worldwide has created. A dual approach of combining a probiotic with a prebiotic to formulate a symbiotic. A symbiotic can assist survival of the probiotic bacterium, although the combination has to be chosen carefully to maximize efficacy. So what Synergy Worldwide did is they took the inulin and combined it with the Bacillus coagulans. Now, why did they choose Bacillus coagulans? Well, it's a spore-forming probiotic species that can withstand the stomach's acidic environment so that when it enters the intestinal area, it can colonize faster. One benefit is that it helps to enhance your immune system. So what Synergy Worldwide did is they found a spore-forming probiotic that is not heat sensitive, which means that it's stable at shelf temperatures. It's a spore-forming probiotic. When combined with inulin, remember inulin, when it is combined with water, produces a gel-like substance. So what happens is that inulin helps to protect the probiotic, in this case Bacillus coagulans, so that when it goes through the stomach, the acid environment of the stomach does not denature and destroy that probiotic, which means that a higher percentage of that spore-forming probiotic actually enters into your intestinal area. And once it gets into the intestinal area, the pH of the intestinal area, as you begin to modify your diet, becomes a favorable environment for that probiotic species, Bacillus coagulans. That spore-forming species is able to now rapidly colonize, and it has the necessary food source, inulin, that not only protected it through the stomach, but when it got into the intestine, in the proper environment, became the food source for the Bacillus coagulans to rapidly recolonize your abdominal cavity. And so Synergy can help you in a very short period of time recolonize your abdominal cavity. And when I look at what's some of the blog posts that are being posted up on the Synergy website for the Purify program, as well as the Gut Health Synergy website, in a very short period of time, people are seeing health improvements because of the rapid ability to recolonize that microbiome flora within their gut. Now, also included in that kit are 2 other products. We're all familiar with Proline Plus. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on talking about Proline Plus. And then there's another product in there, Body Prime, that was introduced into the European market about 1.5 years ago. And we now are utilizing it here in America in the Microbiome Kit. So all I'll say about Proline Plus is if you haven't seen the blog from Synergy Worldwide, I've had some people ask me, are we in the Physician's Desk reference for 2017? The official answer now is yes. We are in the 2017 Physician's Desk reference. The statement is the same as what it was in 2014. At least the first line statement is, quote, Proline Plus is the highest quality L-arginine supplement in the world. So for 4 years straight now, we've been in the Physician's Desk reference. There is no other L-arginine supplement in the marketplace, any place in the world, that can make that statement. And we are the only clinically proven L-arginine supplement that I know of in the world. So we are the best of all the L-arginine supplements that are in the marketplace for creating what's called nitric oxide. And I hope that when we go to the launch of the Microbiome Purify Kit, the official launch in May, I think it's May 12th and 13th, that they'll release the slides for their studies, because if I remember correctly from the slides that I saw in the past when Dr. Tripp shared those slides of the clinical studies that are done on the Microbiome Kit, the increase of nitric oxide in the body is phenomenal when you rechange the gut flora. Using the Microbiome Purify Kit to rechange the gut flora combined with Proline Plus significantly increases the amount of nitric oxide in the body. If I remember correctly, by 40%, but I'm not, don't hold me to that percentage. That's huge. That's huge for people, because that means that you're going to be able to help people with cardiovascular health issues see even greater results when they combine it with the microbiome program. Now, the Body Prime is designed to support cleansing and bowel motility to prime your purification program. Some people are using a 3-day Body Prime program before they start the actual Purify program. You know, one of the things that we'll need to do as a group is, you know, find out people's experiences so that we can begin to put some notes together to begin to give some people some roadmaps on how to best effectively use this program. But in the Body Prime, there's magnesium that is in it. And if you begin to do any research in magnesium, it's a crucial mineral required for the function of hundreds of enzymes in the gut to improve immunity, digestion, regularity, and energy production. Now, if you remember back to that slide, there were 22,000 defined genes in the human genome. In the gut, there are 3.3 million. Now, what is an enzyme? This goes back to my high school, right, when I had to do student teaching, because my college background, undergraduate major was biology with a minor in chemistry and PE. So one of the things that I had to teach the high schoolers was this whole concept of an enzyme. What does an enzyme do? Well, look at it this way. If you took a bunch of Legos and you were going to build a Lego city, and you were going to try and build it in the air without any surface underneath it, it would be very difficult to assemble all those different pieces of your Lego city. But if you were able to put it on a desktop and then build that Lego city on top of the desk, you would be much more efficient and effective in creating what you wanted to create, the end product. Well, that's what an enzyme does. It provides a working surface so that the different parts can come together on a working surface, properly fit together to give you an outcome. And magnesium is critically important in helping that enzyme to properly provide the working surface and line up all the different parts properly so that when they come together, you get a positive benefit. In this case, improved immunity, improved digestion, improved regularity, and most importantly to a lot of people, energy production. Being able to extract the energy from the food that you're eating. Apple pectin and prune powder, they work synergistically together as a prebiotic Biotic, I'll have to change that F to a B, that helps to absorb and bind and eliminate cholesterol, harmful bacteria, and toxins from your system. So the two of them work together to, again, absorb unnecessary or overabundance of cholesterol, harmful bacteria, toxins, and induce bowel motility so that you can then pass them out of your system. Now, that's an overview of the microbiome kit. There's a lot more depth and detail to this microbiome than what there is in nitric oxide therapy. As I shared at the beginning, nitric oxide therapy is easy to understand compared to the microbiome. So as we go through this process, we certainly want to educate people. One of the purposes of doing the live webinars on Tuesday nights starting on April 18th is to help people understand the importance of their microbiome in addressing health issues. We're not going to get into depth and detail about the ingredients within products. We'll do some of that in the microbiome ebook that we create. But again, what we want to do is we want to help people understand in the live presentations and the things that we do the importance of resetting their gut health. And then our product of choice, just like we do in nitric oxide therapy, our product of choice is Proline Plus. In the microbiome of resetting your gut health, our product of choice is Synergy Worldwide's Microbiome Purify Kit to reset that initially and then continue on certain products to be able to maintain and stabilize and grow and enjoy the different health benefits that come from a healthy gut microbiome. Do I have any questions from anyone this morning? We're a little bit past what I had hoped to, but again, I gave you a lot of information, and I don't have anyone muted, so if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask me.
Dan?
Yes.
This is Tracy.
Yes, Tracy.
I did the 3 days prior with the Body Prime.
Uh-huh.
And had a weekend of my grandson's birthday party. And I did not want any of the junk food that was laying out on the table. And that is, you know, I might have taken 1 or 2 chips, but that just did not taste good, didn't, you know, satisfy. But I lost, in those 3 days prior, 11 pounds.
Wow.
And I didn't want to say how many pounds I had lost because I wanted to make sure they stayed off. And they have stayed off. And last night, most of the time I don't weigh myself at night. But just from yesterday, I lost another 4 pounds total. And I'm on day 5.
Okay.
Total, I have dropped 19 pounds. 19 pounds. And I'm not even done with the 7 days.
And did you take any measurements? Meaning not your weight, but in terms of girth measurements?
I did, and I haven't re-measured them. But I know that I'm looking, what I'm seeing to me looks thinner, and I'm noticing it's coming down and out of my rib cage area first.
Okay. All right.
That's what I've noticed, and I'm in a call center all day long. I cannot stand to stay at my desk. I get any excuse to get up and, you know, go get some more water or, you know, just whatever. And when I'm at work, my break time, I have a 15 and a 30-minute lunch. I'm walking around our building because I just can't stand still.
Great. And have people noticed?
One person that sits next to me, about day 3, he was asking, he's like, well, are you all right? You're not talking, you know. I'm like, I'm fine, I'm fine. I felt I'm more calm. My body wasn't just irritated. that's how I felt, is more calm.
Okay.
And I noticed that I feel this internal burn or ignition going on, you know, because I get these warm flashes and cold, and our office, you know, was so freezing cold, and they got it semi-regulated, but I'm not cold at work at this time.
Okay, great.
And so I'm like loving it.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Tracy. Thank you very much. Anyone else have anything that you would like to share or ask questions about before we say goodbye?
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Carol.
I just want to talk a little bit about the toxins and so on in the medical community. And a long time ago in 1999, I had inflammation, and so I started on this on my Proline, and then I had to go through radiation and chemotherapy. And in that community, they never talk natural substances at all. It's all you know, drugs and so on. And I made a conscious decision to stay on my probiotic, or I mean on my Proline, which really has helped me. But I do recall a long time ago where I had problems keeping stuff in my stomach. I just couldn't stay there. And when the doctor talked to me, he said that all the little villi that are in my stomach have flattened so that it can't contain the food. It can't hold it for your stomach to get the benefits. It's going right through. So I guess that would be that leaky gut you're talking about. But even when my grandson came back off his mission early, because he was having some problems with diarrhea and he was really quite sick, the first thing that my doctor put him on was probiotics.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting.
Yeah, and the Body Prime has magnesium in it, so that should help to restore those cilia.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else this morning?
Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Donald.
Thanks for a great presentation. When you were presenting, my mind went to, since I don't know anything about this stuff, my mind went to a pharmacy and the amount of stuff that you see when you go down the aisles, the probiotic, the prebiotic, and all that stuff, and the number of things that are out there that I didn't know how to use this stuff. And we have it in one kit. I mean, there's naturally hundreds of different products or brands of the same product. And I thank you for sharing the use of this kit. And this is where my head was at, if you remember, when I spoke to you about the information. And you've certainly shed a lot of light on this product and what we've got here. And I want to thank you.
You're welcome. And I've got the 5 products that make up the kit. We're all familiar with Proline Plus to use on a regular basis to improve nitric oxide in our system, using nitric oxide therapy to harness the power of that for improved cardiovascular health. From an ongoing standpoint, I think the Biome Shake is absolutely critical from an ongoing standpoint, where a person does one shake on a daily basis. And again, it's not designed, I mean, you could use it as a weight loss shake, but if you use it as a meal replacement shake, I'm telling you, this is phenomenal in terms of being able to give the body the clean energy that it needs and all the other ingredients that it needs to optimize your microbiome and energy. The Biome Actives, to be able to keep colonizing properly, you wouldn't need to take 3 a day, but you most likely could take 1 a day on a consistent basis to be able to continue to maintain the proper colonies within there. The Biome DT, that might be done twice a year, every 6 months, just to help reset, detoxify, continue the process of getting heavy metals out of your system. So that Biome DT becomes something that you might do twice a year. And then the Body Prime, you might want to do that, not like they talk about where you're doing it 3 times a day, but you might do the Body Prime once a day, just to be able to continue to give the body the magnesium that it needs and the other 2 parts of that product to be able to maintain proper health lining of the gut, the cilia of the gut, to maintain their mobility, to be able to maintain their ability to be a selective permeable membrane. I see the Body Prime as something that you would take maybe 1 on a daily basis or maybe 2 on a daily basis on an ongoing basis. And if you do that, that bottle is going to last you for an awful long time. So, from a product standpoint, us as distributors, I don't know, again, I have not seen the maintenance program and what are the components of the maintenance program, and I do not know yet if Synergy is going to be able, selling these on an individual basis. But I can tell you when they do put these on an individual basis, I see the Biome Shake as huge. I see the Biome Actives as huge. And I can see the Body Prime used on a daily basis for people who, again, once they understand the importance of magnesium and getting it in, because most people are magnesium deficient in their diet because of the foods that we have, that our food is grown on, those 3 combinations there, Biome Shake, Biome Prime, and Biome Actives, just from a microbiome standpoint, just become ongoing products that, from a marketing standpoint, next week we're going to talk about marketing with Judy Feldhausen and myself. But from a marketing standpoint, starting 5 people each month on the Microbiome Purify Kit, and then what do they do after they're done with their purification program? Well, now we want to maintain and we want to fortify that environment by staying on the Microbiome Shake, the Actives, and the Body Prime. And again, if they want to improve cardiovascular health, that Proline Plus becomes an optional aspect. And when you're looking at people's money expenditures, again, I come back to this Biome Shake. It's vegan certified. That is hugely fantastic because that opens up a huge marketplace that we did not have before. And in that marketplace, there are people using shakes all the time, and they want them to be vegan. And here we have it. We have a product that we really can market, plus people who don't care whether it's vegan. This shake is fantastic. So there's a whole market for this. There's people who are spending money already on probiotics. Here we have a probiotic and a prebiotic combination that is put together in such a way that helps them to colonize their microbiome their flora in their gut at a more rapid process than what they're currently doing, because of the way that this has been combined together with a prebiotic and a probiotic. So again, there's products here that I can see individually that will help you to have people continue on certain parts of this program to create volume that allows you to be elite honors qualified, as well as creating elite rebates. And then I can see from the pharmacies that are in the Caribbean islands, hopefully these products become, where we can buy them and be able to put them into the pharmacies, because I can see from a pharmacy standpoint, hey, yeah, there's all these shakes, but if you want the best one, here it is, Biome Shake. Yeah, there's probiotics, but if you want the best one, here it is, Biome Actives. Yeah, you want something to help you with cleansing and stuff. Hey, there's a lot of stuff out there, but if you want the best one, here, Body Prime. So yeah, there's a lot here that we can sell collectively, as well as we can do individually to help people continue to address this area of the microbiome. Anyone else?
Yeah, hey, Dan. Dan?
Yes, go ahead.
Dan, can you hear me?
I can.
This is Dane.
Yes,
okay.
Dane.
Hey, thanks for your report this morning. It was awesome. I did the microbiome for a week. I lost 9 pounds, and I spoke to Dr. Tripp about this because I felt like somebody had shot like WD-40 into my joints or something because of the anti-inflammatory. I guess the product, what it does for anti-inflammation, for inflammation, and it was just amazing. I felt like I was walking when I did like I was 25 years ago. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but I talked to Dr. Tripp about that, and he said it was the anti-inflammatory capacity of the product. So it was really good. And I wanted to tell you that I do believe that you can buy these products individually, because I feel just like you feel, Dan. I want to stay on this vegan shake forever because it's so healthy and so good for you. And I felt the same way that you felt when I got on the program. You know, it was almost, I mean, I didn't have the only thing that I felt was that, you know, you drink everything. You don't chew much. And that's what I miss more than anything. But I didn't have hunger pangs and those type of things happen to me. So this is an incredible program. And as I read on the internet and people's testimonials about what they're doing and how it's helping them, it is amazing. And so we're very fortunate to have this type of a program with Synergy. And wait till he compares it to the other programs. I've seen Dr. Tripp compare it to all the other programs. There is nothing like this. I don't care if it comes from the pharmaceutical companies, from other nutritional companies. This is the best program that's ever been introduced to the public. And he has all the statistics to validate what I'm telling you. So thanks so much, Dan. I appreciate all that you do for us, and I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Dane. And yeah, I hope that we can get that slide presentation from Dr. Tripp, because that will help us to validate this program compared to other things. And as you were talking about the joint pain that went away, you know, the anti-inflammatory ingredients that are in this product line are significant. But the other thing that, when you were saying that came back to me immediately was that slide that showed how the toxins enter into the bloodstream. And one of the first places that those toxins affect are the muscles. And as this microbiome program helps you to not just recolonize your microbiome, but also helps to remove the inflammation in the lining of the intestine, improve the cilia response, and tighten the gaps, because the cilia is now a healthy cells instead of dysfunctional cells. That all eliminates the ability of toxins to enter that bloodstream. So I bet you it's a combination of both of those things in terms of how you saw your joint health improve. Thanks, Dane, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Dan?
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to make one other comment that I forgot about. This is such an emerging science, and it's all new, and people are really looking to find, they want to take part in this kind of thing. And so when I was in Costco the other day, they were selling a probiotic for $19.99 or whatever it was. And all it was a little bit of liquid, and I kind of looked over the ingredients, and there was not much there. So it strikes me that we as distributors really need to understand this so that we can speak to people and get them on the right track. Since it's such a hot topic and everybody's looking, there's a lot of misinformation out there as well. And that's one of the things I talked to one of the other ladies about. She wants to look at our program. So I think that's what we have to do as distributors.
Yes, and I'll like I said, I'm in the process of creating the ebook for the microbiome research that we'll be able to use. We'll have videos that will go with it, just like I created videos for the nitric oxide therapy. We'll begin to create a series of videos. They're not all going to be done by the time that this thing launches, but we'll continue this process of putting together the information necessary to help separate us from the rest of the population, out, you know, the competition that's out there, and educate people. And you're absolutely correct. I had a couple people call me for reorders on Proline Plus, and they asked me, you know, anything new coming out. And when I started to tell them about the Microbiome Purify Kits from Synergy Worldwide, it's like, I want more information on that, Dan. You know, in fact, I'm sending one to a person this morning who's going to come in as a distributor, and it's like there is a huge amount of interest in this area because so many people are if they're not having some type of disease or autoimmune disease, there's so many people that just they have abdominal issues. I mean, I ate pretty clean prior to this. I mean, a year and a half ago switched and got rid of all wheat out of my diet. That made a huge improvement in my energy and my digestive tract, but I still had issues. And since I've been on the microbiome, all those issues have gone. I don't have some of that bloating. I don't, when I eat something, I cannot explain it other than saying that it feels like I have such a clean energy burn. I just really like this. And Tracy talked about the chips. I got a bag of chips, you know, because sometimes I look for a snack because I like, you know, the taste of salt and stuff. And it's hard finding, you know, a good snack that doesn't cause some issues. And so chips are a go-to. I don't even have a desire to eat those chips anymore. You know,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's amazing how when that microbiome changes, the foods that you're looking for also change. Because now the good bacteria want a different type of food source and influence you on that process of choosing foods, whereas the bad bacteria, they want what's going to feed them. And so, you know, you'll see stuff talking about the second brain. In fact, you know, if you took the microbiome of the gut, it weighs about the same as what your brain does in terms of mass, you know, in terms of weight. And it's like the gut is the second brain. And so that gut, if it's bad bacteria, it's setting you up to make food choices that you don't want, that maybe you're trying to resist, but that gut bacteria is driving you to make choices that when you change that gut bacteria, like Tracy found, those choices go away. You have no desire for those things because now the good bacteria want the foods that are going to feed them. And that's a great place to be.
Is there a difference between wheat and rye?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. So
because I eat a rye bread that's baked right in the bakery, so it doesn't have all the preservatives. Because if you leave it out for any length of time, it'll mold far, you know, really fast. So I have to keep it in the fridge. But it's a rye pumpernickel bread, and it's brown. So I'm wondering if that's.
I don't know.
You know, it's something I'd like to. Yeah.
Anyone else before we say goodbye?
Dan, this is Bonnie.
Yes, Bonnie.
Hey, a thought just came to me. You know the old saying, I feel it in my gut?
Yeah.
That had to have come from somewhere, Dan.
Sure.
And people back in the day must have realized that a lot of our health, even our, like you said, our second brain, was in our gut. I can't tell you how much better I feel. This is day 6 for Bob and I believe. And I'm having a great experience. I felt like there was some kind of a secret hidden additive in there that because I can feel this rushing through my veins. Honestly, I can, especially when I'm exercising or on my walk. I feel it, and it's phenomenal. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your presentation today, Dan. It really clarified a lot of things for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for sharing, Bonnie. And we all know that you're the better half of the two, right?
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. Bob will get back at me at that, but that's okay. I'll take the flack.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else before we say goodbye? All right. I want to thank everyone for being on today. We went a little bit long, but it was valuable. I appreciate everyone's testimonials of what you've experienced on the Microbiome Kit. Let me just stop the recording.